How do you feel?
I feel awesome.
Okay. I was just wondering with the new situation here.
Yeah, this is we set up a new filming setup because we realized it was going to be a bit grainy in our previous film setup. But you're really inspired to keep going, and so was I. We could be watching football right now.
And it is your birthday.
It is my birthday. But no, this is awesome, and this is what we want to be doing. So it's very cool. Yeah, and we set up a different setup. Now, earlier we did mention that we were filming everything for $200. The price just skyrocketed to $1,200 because we're now using professional lighting.
And that is like probably like a $50 base that the camera's sitting on.
That's true. That's true. It's very high tech. In terms of a quick note, and we will talk more about video as we go, but lighting is kind of everything.
And it's so bright too. I don't even want to look over that.
Yeah, for us it's a teeny tiny bit uncomfortable, but again, being in a feedback loop, what we did was we set up, you blocked the shot out, which means that you set it up and decided on how it was going to look and so forth, and then we filmed short videos with various lighting, and then I just tested it to see what they look like. One of the number one things that we're going to want to do in marketing constantly and in our businesses constantly is test, because so often we'll say, this is going to work, and we'll think in our minds, I'm sure this is going to work. It's worked in the past, but then we won't. For instance, checking links.
Yeah, it would be kind of bad if we recorded an hour and went back and we couldn't hear it, or
and yet that's the kind of problem that comes up all the time. A lot of times when I'm looking over to the camera to look at you guys, it's not that I'm not trying to look at you, but it's actually to check and see that the light is still running.
And that the battery's not going dead or something.
Right, exactly. Link checking. I mean, it's one of the biggest things that happens just constantly.
The one thing about the Rich Jerk ebook is almost all the links in it made me money.
Yeah, so I love this.
So it's like when people would steal the ebook, steal it, I was like, cool.
Yeah, you almost had a strategy. You were like, that was kind of a funny thing because the entry point, didn't you sell it for $200 per book?
Yeah.
And by the end, you were selling it for $10.
Yeah. Because I was like, I want to at least get the affiliates a couple of dollars so they can at least make something on it.
Right.
So they'll keep selling it.
Right.
But I don't care if I make anything on it. Okay. And we have Max in here now.
We have Max. Max is a bit of a glory hound.
Can you lay down, Max? Okay, so anyway, we'll just ignore him. But, so people started giving it away on stuff like, back then it wasn't Rapid Share, it was like LimeWire and stuff.
Yeah.
And we used to send nasty letters from our lawyer, and I was like, we're paying to send these people letters. Why don't we just make money from them and not worry about it?
Yeah. And by the way, you don't need lawyers anyway. You can simply send, and I learned this from Nick over at Love Systems. You can just send an email to these torrent sites, and they have forms set up for you, and they pull down links all the time. But it's kind of funny. In that case, you actually preferred it because you knew you were making money hand over fist off your affiliate links.
Yeah, and it was funny. I was mentioning to you the other day, I had bought an ebook, a relationship ebook, because I was thinking about maybe getting into that market a little bit, just because you're in it.
I hope you do come in.
And people seem like, I know when I've been in a relationship and it's like ending or whatever, and maybe I'm not on the good side of the ending.
Well, that's the number one thing that pulls people in.
Yeah, it's like...
it's not even the guys that have never had a girlfriend. There are some of those, but the majority is guys that, had a good situation. It went on for a few years, but there was something contextual that led them to that relationship. Like they were in college is the main thing. So usually it's like, I was in college. And by the way, why am I discussing this? Is this important? Yes, this is important. This is intrinsic to the relationship advice business. And there are other value propositions, when it comes to, internet marketing, we've got a pretty good idea of the kinds of folks that we're going to be dealing with. With dating.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I haven't been into any dating books in a long time because I had a long-time girlfriend, and now she's gone away to college, and that just wasn't going to work for either of us. So that ended, and then, what do I know? One day I'm searching about relationships.
You're literally doing, like, hey, wait, Mike, don't you have a...
yeah, exactly. I was searching for it and, looking at all these different ebooks and pages. I was like, ooh, the sales letter's kind of cool.
Yeah, you were on the phone with me, a few minutes later. You were like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about this. This looks like a pretty good market. To get back to what I was saying, though, the primary thing that we have is a guy who meets a girl in college, dates her for a while, they graduate, their relationship relationship sort of trails off kind of miserably for a couple of years, and then the guy ends up single, and suddenly he can't understand why he quote-unquote has no game. He doesn't realize he never had game. He was just in a situation that was very conducive to him being able to get a girlfriend. And so then he has to kind of, start over from the very beginning. But yeah, so generally, a lot of what we're talking about here and what we're really trying to nail is vectors.
Oh, well, one other thing I wanted to say was when I was looking at those ebooks, they had links to like Match.com and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was not an affiliate link. And it was just so weird to me because maybe they had like a 40 gravity on ClickBank or whatever, so they were kind of selling okay.
Yeah.
So you could tell like a few extra bucks would be kind of nice every day, right? Like $10, $20 a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Like why would you just not have
Well,
that?
my whole model for the Magic site that we ran, the Magic Advice site that me and David Mills ran for Magic the Gathering, was to sell folks auctions on eBay, very cheap auctions for Magic cards, anywhere from 99 cents an auction to maybe 15, 20 bucks. It wasn't, but most of the cards would close for 99 cents. But we made all of our money on Magic Secrets. Mm-hmm. Because what would happen is, well, not all of them. I actually made quite a bit of money on the cards, but we made a ton of money on Magic Secrets as well. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have done that. But what we would do is we had an upsell, to this Magic Secrets book, and I would give everyone who bought one of my auctions a free trial to it. And about 1 out of every 10 people, I'd say, it's hard for me to remember the exact numbers, would end up buying Magic Secrets, which is a $50 ebook. So, bam, we make $5, per auction essentially, because that's, and that changed our model. One of the things I'm looking forward to, a video I'm looking forward to making with you, is breaking down the catalog ebook. Because I don't know who invented that. I don't know if it was you or somebody else. I don't care. I just know that you do it dang well. Mm-hmm. And it's something that was so incredibly successful with the Rich Jerk ebook, was having those links in there, and that was such an intrinsic part of that business.
Yeah, the hosting was the really nice part of it because people would just go I'd be like, you need a website, here's where, we'd give you a free one. Well, we'll talk about it. But
and that was a deal, by the way.
Yeah, I went and negotiated, I think.
And it wasn't scary.
Hosting companies were like on Commission Junction at the time, like, if you get us a new hosting customer, we'll give you $70.
Yeah.
If they sign up for like a year plan or whatever.
Yeah, that was with Midpace, right?
Well, not originally. I just went around to like 10 different companies, and I was like, well, such and such is going to give me this much. How much can you give me? Yeah. And then eventually Midpace was like, we're in Vegas. Do you want to just come meet us?
Yeah.
And I was going to be there anyway.
Yeah.
So I went, and they were like, they sold now, so I think I can tell, but they were like, we'll give you 130.
Right.
And it was the highest payout of any hosting affiliate, supposedly. And we were their #1 hosting affiliate for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just driving.
And the idea with that is somebody would buy your ebook, and then on the thank you page, they, as you say thank you to them, you'd give them the opportunity to, because of course they're interested in internet marketing. They probably, wanted to have a website.
Right.
And this was a way that they could have a website that was pre-populated.
We made it for them.
Yeah.
We had different templates. And
yeah, we'll talk about some of those strategies.
A lot of people do that now, so it's not that innovative anymore, but at the time, it pretty much was.
Yeah.
And actually, I got to give credit to Mark Jennings for helping me with that.
Nice.
He actually mentioned it and had started doing a little bit of it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Well, what if we make it a little bit better and get a higher payout?
No, when you say he started doing it.
Yeah, well, he had been giving away free websites with hosting and getting commission for hosting before me on a super small scale.
Yeah.
And he came to me with the idea, and I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I would give him, for a long time, I gave him like $20 per hosting account that we got.
Yeah, that's right, because he actually built the software to do the whole thing.
But his software was like not that great, and it was like unreliable for like a huge volume. Yeah. And he didn't have a huge volume at the time, so we ended up just like making our own. Yeah. And that was that, and then that's it. Yeah, we just got 130 per, and we were. And it was,
and we're talking, $130 may not sound like much money, but it added up to millions.
Well, we were doing more than 100 referrals a day. So, I mean, what is that right there? That's
100 times 100.
Yeah, so that's a lot.
Yeah, $12,000.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It is $10,000.
It's $10,000.
Yeah, there was a good amount of chargebacks and things like that, but yeah.
Well, no, I mean, yeah. Well,
it's interesting though because we get calls from all other hosting companies after that didn't bid us on the best price because I guess there's a site where you can watch these hosting people watch each other as competition and find out how many new hosting accounts they set up. There's a way they can track their servers to see how many new hosting accounts.
To see how much like stress they're getting.
Yeah, so they're like
busy baiting each other.
Midphase is getting like thousands of new customers every month. How are they doing this?
How are they doing? And then they would reverse engineer their way and find you.
Yeah. So and then what's cool is Midphase ended up, their growth was so crazy that they ended up
selling it.
They sold it.
And that deal was intrinsic to their success.
Yeah, so they sold it for millions, and we helped them out. And then the new company came in and was like, well, we're not going to pay you $130, and we had to renegotiate and stuff like that. But it was pretty good for a while. And the thing is, back then, Midphase was more like, we just want as many hosting customers as we could get, and we'll pay.
Well, because they're trying to reach that breakthrough.
They had an end game.
Yeah.
Where they
that's so critical when it comes to the deal making, and it's not scary, but when it comes to deal making,
lay down.
Like really figuring out what it is that you can provide the other person and getting what's their motivation. Because it's so often that we give people things that we think that we would want, but like if we have the opportunity to figure out what it is that they actually want and can give it to them, then that's really extraordinary. And that was the thing. As I talked to the guys over in Midphase, when I was just getting started, and they actually contacted me. They're like, oh, maybe I want to do something with you or whatever. And they were great. It was great to work with them, but so much of it was based on your reputation and them having worked with you.
I referred a lot of people over there. I think Evan Pagan was using them for a while, and then Frank Kern was using them.
Yeah.
And
Frank was using him for his dog book business for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't think that ended up
it didn't work
very
well.
successful. But he tried it, and
it turns out
things that we tried.
People that buy dog training don't want websites for their dog. Like maybe he was wondering if maybe they did.
Yeah, which is a good question.
And they didn't. But
and I didn't think that they necessarily did. Like it might have been that they could have done it differently. He didn't really go heavy duty into it. But the reason we bring things up like this is that there's a number of ways to make money. Like once we get the ball rolling, once we develop a reputation, once we start generating success, then folks come to us. I mean, it really is so much like that snowball that builds up. And that's one of the reasons why we're so dedicated in this feedback loop process and, really, really trying to do it well.
Is there a lot of commotion with the dog? Should I let them out real quick?
Yeah, I think so. Because I keep hearing their collars and stuff like that.
We'll just keep it running though, right?
All right, that'll be good. I'm actually going to...
Mama.
Molly.
That's funny. We're not even editing it. We're just like, we're going to let the dogs out.
Yeah. I may go over and sit that out
Okay.
if it's too disruptive, definitely. With this catalog ebook, what led us to that topic was the broken link. Mm-hmm. And there's so many ways for us to have, it's kind of fascinating in business, but there's so many ways for us to have this kind of broken link, both literally and figuratively. So with the dating book that you found, they had a broken link by not even having, they could have been making a ton of money from Match. And so that was like a broken link in the sense that it never even happened. You're talking about another business that a past business partner, and you were just trying to hook them up. You're like trying to stay aware and so forth, and you'd sold a business to somebody in the past, and you noticed that they had a couple of key broken links that could have just been making them money hand over fist.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a financial site, and I sold it along with the business, and for maybe almost 2 years now, I've been contacting them. Like, it was just an extra site I just gave them as part of a deal. It was like it made like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But it turns out like a bunch of the affiliate links, like were Commission Junction links and things like that, and Commission Junction has advertisers that get deactivated or the offer changes or whatever.
Yeah.
So then all these links started becoming invalid, and I would email them and be like, hey, that site I gave you as part of that deal could be making you some nice money if you just fix those links.
Yeah.
And they were like, cool, yeah, we'll do that. And then they just never did.
And
it was just so weird to me.
And obviously, it's not that we feel like they're morally inferior for doing it.
I was like, please, can I have the site back? I'll do it. I'll fix it. I was like, I like $5,000 a month for not doing anything except fixing the link. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I was even like, I'll fix it and give you half.
Sure.
Whatever.
If it's that hard. Yeah. And the reason I bring this up, one of the things that we want to really nail in this particular video is the idea of vectors. And this is an idea that I've always used, but Dave Nelson really helped me understand it a lot better. And it's the idea of, in a sense, being the change that we want to see, or at least recognizing that whatever actions that we're taking are an example to ourselves and to everyone else around us. And the reason I bring that up when it comes to the link checking is that, and I'll get deeper into this vector thing is such a big deal.
It is. I definitely want to focus on it because that's been huge for me.
I'm glad. Yeah, and your life has been, and mine too. I mean, well, when you were saying to me, hey, we mentioned a couple of videos ago how I used to be on the phone all the time and having conversations that weren't making me happy, pacing around the swimming pool in La Jolla and all that stuff. And the problem was I was giving myself a bad example for what I wanted the next day. What I was saying is, okay, I'm this guy who gets on the phone, talks to people, and is unhappy based on it. Mm-hmm. And that's my model for living, because I'm affirming by my actions that that's what I want. Instead of enjoying time with friends, instead of focusing on my customers, instead of all the other things I could be doing. When we have bad links and we don't check them, we're providing ourselves with this example that we don't care about our business. Mm-hmm. That surely that couldn't be important. And it screams to our customers, when they click and the link doesn't go there, that's not a good thing for them, and it doesn't imply the right things for their minds. We had an experience, and I'm actually not going to mention what launch this was during at the moment, but or actually at any time. But there was a guy that we were working with, and it was during the launch, and he was on a bit of a trip, but he was kind of intrinsically involved in the process.
He was somewhere with his family, on vacation, but it was during our crucial.
Yeah, it was a critical period during that particular launch, and he was a bottleneck because he was standing between us and being able to get a few things taken care of.
But we kind of needed his help, or at least we thought we were going to have it, and
yeah. So anyway, we ended up on the phone with him, and there was this moment, and we refer back to this because it's also an example of things that have happened for us and mistakes that we've made. But anyway, the long and the short of it was late, but we needed the information from him, and so we kind of kept on the phone with him. And out of nowhere, someone from his family just starts screaming at him and yelling at him and just berating him. And he was on the phone with a couple of respected colleagues who, we respect him, we appreciate him, we think the world of him, think he's a great guy. Mm-hmm. And then there's this person and probably she hadn't had sleep, or who knows what was going on for her. But at that moment, it was so horrifying.
She was just so angry that he was on the phone with us instead of spending time with them.
Yeah.
It was maybe 2 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah. And she was just furious. And
he was really on tilt because of it, right?
He was. Yeah, it was really influencing things. He confided to both of us that he was really kind of suffering under those conditions. And, obviously we're not mocking him or laughing at him because we've been in that case. I'm divorced. I was married. I'm divorced. One of the major things that happened, there's obviously, I thought, a tremendous amount about, my ex-wife because I married her and I thought she was terrific. But we had a real fundamental chemistry issue because the way she saw things, and it's very understandable, and this was something I did not explain to her and never got clear with her, but for her, she saw me in a suit working a job, and doing well with it. I'm sure she could see me as maybe someday a president of a big business, but she saw the infrastructure. Where's the business? She loved it when I had a store. That she could see it, she could understand it. It was palatable to her.
The internet type.
When I went into internet marketing and I didn't have the expertise to explain it to her, I hadn't done anything yet, and she just didn't get it. and it just didn't ring true to her. And I mean, I look back, and this is a mistake of my past. And, I'll say this is a mistake of my past because I think I could have done a lot more to explain to her and to enroll her in the situation. But regardless, I didn't. And what ended up happening was kind of this, ultimately, I fundamentally at some point realized that it was, this was the way I wanted to go, but she was kind of going a different direction. And she saw the same thing. Like, she wanted to go here, and I wanted to go here.